Welcome to Creative Conversations. I'm Roger Humphrey. In this episode, I'm pleased to welcome the Danish violinist Christine Pryn, who is the founder of the Rudersdal Summer Music Festival and the subsequent Rudersdal Chamber Players. Please join us as we discuss how all that came about, her support of new composers, especially women composers, and their upcoming U.S. debut in New York and Pennsylvania, and much, much more. Before we begin, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps the channel a lot and is also a subtle act of defiance. Thanks. And we are welcoming to this show the wonderful violinist, Christine Pryn. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I so deeply appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course, and it's nice to meet you. I've got much to talk about here. I suppose probably the first place I want to start is your summer music school or music concert series.
Yeah, I think you are. Yeah.
Rudersdal, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How did that come about?
I wanted to create a festival because there was a certain kind of concert which I think we missed in Denmark. So I started this festival. I was looking for a good area to do it. Um, and this area it's rather close to Copenhagen, a beautiful area, very desirable. And yeah, I'm teaching also in that area, and I felt there was a certain interest for culture and music, so I thought it was a good idea to do it there.
When
That's
did
why
when did it begin?
back in 2010.
Okay, so
So it's already 15 years.
it goes by
Yeah,
quickly.
it does. And at that time I read about another festival celebrating 20th anniversary, and I said, "Oh my God, that's a long time." And now we are close to that ourselves, so that's
Well,
really something.
congratulations. I mean, that's wonderful
Yeah,
to have it successful enough to last that long.
yeah, that's really nice. And we have a um very a wonderful audience that come back year after year and very supportive. And also, if I'm programming some crazy stuff, they come anyways. So that's really nice. Yeah.
So, well, your programs, from what I've been able to tell, I mean, you started in 2018. You started your quartet, is that correct? Or the chamber players, I should say.
Yeah, I had another ensemble which broke apart, but this is so much better. I'm happy I did it because I have like tripled uh, my yearly concert number of concerts, and also, yeah, of course, income. And so it has been much more successful than what I had before. And the ensemble, it comes from the festival and it plays at the festival, but not only. We're playing in many venues in Denmark and abroad. So.
Well, you're coming to the United States
Yeah,
in
finally,
April.
we hope so. We will be let in, I hope.
So that's exciting. So, and that's
Very.
you're going to be playing in New York. Is that right?
Yes, and Syracuse and in Holmesdale, Pennsylvania, small town there. So,
How wonderful! How wonderful! So you'll be
yeah.
playing at Victoria Bond's concert
Yeah.
series. So,
Yes, we will. Yeah.
so, so you do a lot of new music
Yes.
as well as standard repertoire, correct?
Classics. Yes, standard repertoire, but also uh, classics, lesser known classics, so to speak.
Yeah, I noticed there's certain romantic period composers that are unknown, but the music is lovely. I listened to a
Yeah,
little bit of it online recently.
exactly. Exactly.
So,
That's what we love to do. Yeah.
how did that interest come about?
Well, I think it's a sense of fairness. I think it's really unfair. Yeah, but it's really unfair. And I think, to be honest, many concert organizers, they're not very inventive in their programs. They're repeating the same pieces again and again and again. And I think it's a pity because there's so much wonderful music which should be played. Uh, and I don't say you should not play Mozart and Beethoven or this anymore. I don't say that, but I think definitely that you could uh, supply with some lesser known pieces.
Yes, the I always refer to them as the greatest hits. There's this one pool of music that everybody seems to play. I understand part of that because it's easier to attract an audience if the audience is familiar with the music. But
That's true.
but
That's true. But
you also play quite a bit of contemporary music. Is
yeah,
it uh, is it difficult to attract an audience for something like that,
it,
or your audience is pretty good?
it can be, but usually we mix it contemporary on and classical. I usually like to mix it. Also, I think as a musician, it's more fun to work in both fields. I don't want to limit myself to one style. So we like to mix it. I can tell you once I had invited a festival composer to our festival who is making some really noisy music. It's very, very harsh. And my idea, I thought, okay, what's the most opposite of his music? That's Mozart. So
Oh,
I made a full program with a mixture of his very heavy avant-garde and Mozart. I think it was really fun. I like that idea. I might repeat that. That
I
was fun.
I
Yeah.
like that idea a lot too. You're
Mhm.
right. Not all, but much contemporary music can be uh, harsh particularly to somebody who doesn't listen to that kind of music very often.
Yeah.
It can.
But there's also a lot of contemporary music which is not harsh in that way. So I
That's
think nowadays you can find, I mean, anything you like. You can also find like avopert, this style,
oh yeah,
which
sure,
is
yeah.
very soft and so today it's very mixed. And I think when people say I don't like contemporary music, I think it's stupid. It's like saying I don't like fruit. I mean, you might not like apples, but you would like strawberries, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense really, because it's so different what you can find.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that there's some beautiful music out there,
Yes.
and a lot of composers who have yet to become famous. Their name is not well known, and
Yeah.
I think as musicians we kind of have an obligation to shine a light on them, play their music, and let the rest of the world hear it. So
Oh yes, definitely, definitely.
so the chamber players basically are four people. It's basically a piano quartet, correct?
Yeah, we most often perform as piano quartet, but we do play in different uh, um, setups. We also sometimes play with like piano trio plus clarinet,
Okay.
or clarinet quintet, string quartet plus clarinet, or piano quintet, or piano trio, or string trio, or it depends on the program. And that's a really nice thing that we can make so many different setups. Also, for example, if I want to feature one composer, and he might not have made like four piano quartets, maybe he has one piano quartet, one piano trio, and a clarinet quintet, and then we can do all three.
So you don't feel restricted to stay just in one form, that you can move around in that a little bit.
Exactly, exactly.
I think
But we have so the core of the ensemble is a piano quartet. Yes.
so. That's interesting because a lot of groups really feel compelled to stay right within that
Yeah.
particular repertoire. So that
Exactly. I did that before, but this was an idea. It came from a composer, Lera Auerbach. Do you know her? She lives in Florida. She's originally from Russia, but she lived in the States I think since she was 17.
okay.
Very
I'm
successful.
afraid I don't know her, but go ahead.
Lera Auerbach. She's very successful composer, Um, she visited my festival and she suggested making this ensemble. I spoke a lot to her husband, Rafael de who's is originally a double bass player, but he does a lot of projects for her, and he's very inventive also. And they recommended this kind of setup. They were working with an ensemble, similar ensemble in Santa Barbara,
Uh-huh.
I think called Pacific, South Pacific or something, Chamber Players. I don't remember. But so we kind of took that idea and okay, we do it this way, and it really works well. Also because we can fit into any venue. Also, if we've been playing in a very very small, like the artist studio, with paintings and things, and then we just come with a duo, violin and cello, and so it's very flexible. And I like the piano because it it makes the group like a small symphony orchestra, right?
Yes.
When you add the piano. I like the piano, but also sometimes there are venues without piano, and we can play there then without piano.
Well, it,
So
it, it gives you it gives you flexibility that way, but it also
yeah,
gives you
exactly.
flexibility with your repertoire as well,
Yeah,
as you
exactly.
indicated. So you're
Mhm.
not restricted or pigeonholed, as we
Yeah,
like to say.
exactly.
So yeah, listening to your group, it's a wonderful group, and I really enjoy
Thank you.
the music that I listen to. You're also a very wonderful soloist. You're a beautiful violinist.
Thank you.
And actually, just this afternoon, I was listening to your recording of Bach's Chaconne, which is really
Ah,
quite.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
quite a departure from some of the other things that I heard the group play, and I am very partial to that piece. It's an absolutely amazing piece of music. So,
that's a wonderful piece. Yes.
and you play it very well.
Thank you so much. I'm happy you enjoyed. I
Oh yeah.
did it together with some big contemporary violin pieces. The recording, it was because, you know, I was playing the Luciano Berio sequenza,
Uh huh.
and I had the opportunity to meet the composer once. It's a long time ago. No, he's already dead for many years, but he told me that this violin sequenza, it's a frozen passacaglia.
Oh,
And then Passacaglia, that's same as a chaconne. So I thought, okay, and it's a wild big piece. So I think it's kind of mirroring the Bach chaconne. That's why I recorded them together.
it was beautiful.
So
Excuse me. So, a number of things to talk about here. So, when you're programming, putting together a program, do you program for a particular venue? So, for example, if you're playing in an art gallery or artist studio, do you play music that you think would be complementary to that space?
that can happen. Yes, that can happen. But although I program, I like to program after a theme. We made a series on the four elements,
Oh,
and it was planned to be a 4 year series. It lasted somewhat longer because of the pandemic. It was delayed. But for each element, we made three or four projects. Um, and then I combined the concept with a small lecture. For example, when we made the element fire, uh, one of the projects was about the sun, and
oh,
I invited how it's called astrophysicist physicologist to give a lecture
well, how
uh,
interesting.
about the sun because he had actually found out that the sun produces something like sound waves.
Okay.
So he I saw an article of him called "The Sun is Singing." So I said, okay, wow, great! I will invite him. And he was giving a small lecture during our concert. So that's what we did, and we had several other for uh, and also when we had soil, the element of soil or earth, how do you call it, earth or
Earth,
soil?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Earth, yeah, because in Danish, earth and soil is the same word.
Oh, okay.
So we had a concert about food, which is growing in the soil.
Sure.
So I was inviting a gastrophysicist, the one who knows about the taste.
Oh, okay.
And we played music related to food. There's, there was a small piano piece by Mozart called Butterbrot.
Okay. I don't know that piece.
Uh, it's a tiny piece, but it's fun. And we had the music from the movie. There's a movie called Babette's Feast. It's a Danish movie that won, I think it was the first Danish movie to win an Oscar
Oh, cool.
back in the 80s. Yeah. It's a movie based on a novel by the writer Karen Blixen.
Okay.
And it's about, yeah, long story short, about a woman who she's a cook and she wins a lot of money and she spends this money on creating an absolute extraordinary meal for some people living in a very ascetic way in a small town in the up in the north. So it's a beautiful movie. So we had the film of that. I mean, just to show how we work on a theme and combine music and knowledge. I like the combination of music and knowledge because I think sometimes people have a different approach when they are expecting an artistic experience or when they are expecting to learn about something, right?
Uh-huh.
It's quite different. I think people sometimes they divide into the intellect and the emotion, and I like to combine this.
I'd love to attend a program like that. That just sounds really
It was
fascinating.
really fun. So we made, I mean, of 4 elements, three or four projects for each element, inviting some various people to talk about something related to that particular element. It was really fun. And
So,
we wanted to continue this after finishing the 4 elements. We will probably continue with other topics.
well, I certainly hope so. So now,
Yeah.
uh, when it comes to devising these programs, do you do that on your own, or do you have people to help you, or how does that come about?
You mean what to introduce them or?
Well, when you're inventing your program, when you're writing your program, do you do that by yourself, or do
Yes, I
people in
do
the group
by
help
myself.
you? I'm sorry.
I mostly do it, but of course, if they have the musicians, if they have some suggestions, I'm open to this.
Okay.
But I'm the one who is digging. I called myself a musical gold digger. Yeah, because I like, I really like to search in the very late evening. I like to search online. And I will tell you about my newest discovery. I don't know if you know the Dutch composer Julius Röntgen.
I do not know that name.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the most famous romantic Dutch composer. I mean, there are no really famous romantic Dutch composer, which
Okay.
is strange because it's so close to Germany, where they have
Right.
a lot.
Uh huh.
But he's the number one, and he's, by the way, a very he was related to the inventor of the X-ray Röntgen.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
yeah, it was that family. Um, but I found a trio of his which had never been performed from
Really?
1921. Yeah, and
Wow.
we just 2 days ago we premiered it.
And you premiere a
That
lot of
was
music.
Yes, and it's so fun to. I mean, we premiere a lot of new music, which is composed for us, obviously, but to premiere a piece from 1921, the year my grandfather was born, that's really something. I think I was really excited about that.
And how did the audience respond?
They loved it. They didn't come too many people, unfortunately, probably because it's not famous, but the people who were there, they really loved the piece. And I mean, Julius Frank, he should be more known. He was a friend of Brahms, a friend of Edvard Grieg. a friend of the Danish composer Carl Nielsen.
Wow.
And he was actually performing with Brahms. He was playing his piano concerto with Brahms as conductor.
Wow.
You
So,
just check him out. He has 24 symphonies. I think number 24 I like a lot.
okay,
Um,
I'll have to do a little digging myself because I am not at all
yeah,
familiar with that.
but he
So,
was originally born in Leipzig in Germany, but his father was Dutch and he moved then to Amsterdam. But he thought about moving to Vienna instead. Maybe that would have been better for his career. I don't know.
yeah,
But
location.
anyway, yeah, exactly. I think there was not much going on in the Netherlands at that time.
You're probably right. So
But
now
he
is
basically because the Netherlands was there was this Calvinistic religion for a long time,
sure.
and also they had the monarchy was very new. So at that time, either the church or the noble family, they were the ones who supported the culture. And if they had none of this, that might be why they didn't have so much music. I don't know. But it's
Well,
just to say how I like to dig for something. And I've also I have certain particular interest in music from the Soviet times.
okay. Yeah, a
That's
lot of that
really
didn't
my,
escape. A lot of that didn't come out till later, did it? A lot of the
yeah,
Soviet
and
music.
yeah, it's not, I mean, everyone knows just the COVID and maybe Alfred Schnittke also, but apart from that, not so much.
Not so
So
much, right? Right. So,
it's something I really love to play.
well, so now, will you be recording any of this music? Do you know?
Yes, we will actually this spring we will be recording music by our friend Elena Firsova.
Okay.
She's she's also on the program at Victoria's series.
Yes, I saw the program. Right.
Yeah, Elena Firsova and her late husband Dmitry Smirnov. They
Okay.
are fantastic composers. Unfortunately, he died as one of the early victims in the pandemic.
Oh,
But they both came for our festival in 2019, and then 8 months later he died. Unfortunately, it
there was a
was
piece of
really
hers.
sad.
There was a piece of hers that you performed that's on YouTube. Um,
Yeah, there are a few of them. Yeah,
yeah, that was what was the name of that again? I'm sorry.
of the piece.
Yes.
Yeah, there's one piece called "The Quartet for the Time of Grief."
Yes, it was
That's
beautiful.
with clarinet, and that's she composed that for us after his death.
Oh, it's a beautiful piece of music. Just it's absolutely
And
it's beautiful.
but the piece we will play at Victoria's series that's called Four Seasons. And it's a bit funny because everyone knows the Vivaldi Four Seasons, but this is inspired by the Four Seasons in England where she's living. She's living in London. And so they're not that different, the Four Seasons. That's really funny.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
fall. It's raining. It's winter. It's
Yeah,
raining.
it's more or less all raining, right? Yeah. But it's still a really, really nice piece. I love it. And one of the other concerts we're playing also in the Kaufmann Center, we'll play a piece by Dmitri, the late husband,
Uh-huh.
and that's inspired by Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
So,
he wrote that for us, and he thought, okay, it was nice to be inspired by Hamlet because it takes place in Denmark.
of course.
That's why.
Now, are you doing any solo performing, or is all your performing pretty much with the group with the chamber players?
I just this Friday I had a recital with a pianist. Um, we were playing actually again Soviet music. It was Schnittke, and then a piece by her grandfather who was called Israel Finkelstein. And you will hardly find anything about him in the internet.
Uh-huh.
But he was also a close acquaintance of Shostakovich and worked
Oh,
with Shostakovich. And this sonata is wonderful. It's a very big one. It's 35 minutes. But
that's a big piece. That's a big piece.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's very extremely powerful. You need to play very, very loud and with a lot of. So I was really very tired the next day. But his grandchild is a wonderful pianist called Paulina Fratkina, and she comes from St. Petersburg, and now she's living in Denmark because of the war. She and her family have been criticizing the Putin regime, so they didn't feel safe to stay.
Politics do tend to get in the way a little bit, don't they? It's
Yeah,
unfortunate. It's
but it
unfortunate.
sounds awful, but I've been profiting from this war because she came to Denmark. She's my very good friend. I've also become friends with some wonderful Ukrainian musicians who came to Denmark. So it's awful to say, but for me, it has meant good things because I've met these wonderful people.
Well, that's
So,
terrific.
yeah. But of course, I hope that everyone would be able to return to their homes soon.
I hope
Um,
so. I hope so too. So, how
yeah.
uh, you put the group together in 2018, and two years later was COVID. That must have been an awful shock to the business of music for you.
Yeah. I think, yeah, for everyone, yes. I'm lucky. I'm also teaching kids to play violin, so I got my salary from that. Now, I must say, the Danish state, they closed down a lot of things, and especially culture. I think culture was some of the last things reopened, and many artists were complaining. And for that, I mean, we got a lot of support from the state financially.
That's good.
Uh, so it's actually not that bad after all, I think, not compared to many other places.
Yeah, that's
And we did some streaming sessions also.
I've had friends that did a lot of that. They don't care to ever do it again, but they did a lot of
Ah,
streaming during that time, and so
yeah.
I had a friend of mine who's a jazz keyboard player, and
Mm,
he had two of his friends that would come over to his house uh, and uh, and set up in his basement. And every Friday night they would play for an hour live streaming,
oh,
and
nice. Yeah.
and he didn't make any money, of course, but he just had to play. It's what
Yeah.
it's like as a musician. Just you have to play.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
so much a part of us and what we do and how we do things.
It
So
is.
so
I also went with a friend to play for old people in the care homes outside. We were
yes,
playing outside when the weather allowed that, and we're just playing like small tunes. And but just I realized during the pandemic how important it is to me just the feeling of producing a sound,
yes.
this physical feeling of producing a sound, how important it is to me. I cannot survive without that. So,
One of my former students is a performer now and has been for many years, and uh, I'm a guitar guy, and so he was doing concerts from his front porch, so that people could
nice.
walk by and stand, and some people would bring chairs and things like that, and would sit on his front lawn
Yeah,
so that he could perform just because he needs to perform. It was something that's important to him. So I
yeah,
totally
I
understand.
understand. Yeah.
And so, and making the music is important, but I think if you're a performer, also playing for people is very
Oh,
important.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
That's
just
why, I mean, the streaming was not very fulfilling in that way.
right. So, but I'm
And if
glad you're
I
back
mean,
at it now.
yeah, me
I'm
too, me too.
so I'm afraid I won't be able to see you when you come to New York and Pennsylvania, but I wish you all great success
Thank you so much.
with that. So, but we are, believe it or not, all out of time, and I'm going to have to say goodbye. So,
Okay,
thank you
it was
so
great
much,
talking to you.
and you too. Thank you so much. It's
Yeah,
very nice to meet you. Bye
same to
bye.
you. Bye bye.
I'd really like to thank Christine for coming on the show. If you'd like to know more about her or the Rudersdal Chamber Players, there are links in the description. If you'd like to keep up with Christine or any of my other guests, please go to www.rogerhumphrey.com and subscribe for my weekly blog. It's free, and I promise, no spam. Thanks again for being here, and don't forget to tell your friends about Creative Conversations with Roger Humphrey.